Hi everybody. Um, Janice LaShore here. Some people call me Jay, spelled Jaye. I kind of prefer Jay because it's a bit easier and it's a bit easier to remember, not necessarily to say. But anyway, um, I grew up on the west side of Chicago. It was kind of a like apartment complex. It was townhouses, or at the time they called them row houses. Um, near Malcolm X College, actually between Malcolm X College and Crane High School. An interesting detail about that complex, thinking about it now, as opposed to when I was a kid. Yeah, it was kind of like only one way in and one way out. So that was kind of strange, but I guess they have their reasons. It's actually still like that. Um, I currently live in Chicago. I live on the south side of Chicago. Um, an interesting detail about the south side to me is there's this an amazing popcorn place that I absolutely love. It's on 79th Street in St. Louis, and it's called Enjoy Your Corn, a black owned business, and I absolutely love them. My favorite is the hot dill pickle. I know it sounds like a strange name for popcorn, but don't knock it till you try it. Maybe I'll surprise the class one of these Wednesdays when we all meet. Who knows? Keep your fingers crossed. So, here we go. Let's dive right on into it. This is for my speech class, Communications 100. This is my introduction speech, which is actually a little late because I kind of misread things and did not realize I had to do a YouTube channel. So please forgive me, but here we go. Um, my educational journey, starting with high school. I went to Joseph Fenham High School for my freshman year here in Chicago. Pretty interesting year. I met some great people. I'm actually in touch with a lot of those people right now to this day. And I was 13 when I started high school, so it was kind of cool. Um, actually, I might have been 12 and turned 13. But anyway, it was a long time ago. I don't remember, so whatever. And then I moved to Norcross, Georgia, where I lived for 2.5 years. I went to Norcross High School for my sophomore year, and I was kind of a rebellious kid, so I had to do night school in order to make it to my junior year, which I did. And I did my junior year at Dunwoody High School and part of my senior year. And then I moved back to Chicago. I kind of, if I was going to attend a high school here in Chicago, I wanted to go to a public school. My mom had always like paid for me to go to school. I went to private grammar schools and stuff like that. And she wanted me to go to a school that at the time it's not. I don't know if they have tuition now, but at the time she would have had to pay tuition, and I just kind of didn't want her to, and I kind of wanted to have a taste of like the public school thing or whatever. But she didn't want me to, so I opted to take the GED. And so after that, oh gosh, what did I do? Um, I kind of was all over the place. I had a couple kids, and then, well, I had one, and then when I was pregnant with my second child, my daughter, I went to CNA school. After CNA school, I worked for a little while as a CNA, and then I went to, I forget the name of the school, but I took a program that was called Allied Health, which was phlebotomy and EKG. And then I worked as a CNA more, and then I went to EMT school. Paid for by, well, not paid for, but through Superior Ambulance Company, and I worked there. I worked at ATI, and then I ended my EMT career at Lifeline Ambulance, and that was in 2009 when I became pregnant with my youngest child, who is now 9 years old. Um, so now I'm an LPN. I went to PCCTI Training Institute for my LPN, and I have been an LPN for 3 years. And now I am continuing my education here at Northwestern to achieve my RN, and that's it. So, um, can't really get too much more specific about my major because, as I said, I'm a nursing student, and So this class is a prerequisite for that program. My career journey, I kind of explained a little bit already with the educational journey. I was a CNA for 17 years. Throughout my 17-year time as a CNA, I worked for a little while with the city of Chicago as a hand laborer for about 7, 8 months. I got hurt and went back to CNA work. And then I worked for a little while as an EMT. Um, After the EMT thing, as I stated before, I had a kid and I was home with him until he got a little bit bigger, and then I went back to school. No, I'm sorry, back to work as a CNA until I decided to go to school for nursing. Um, my first job was at Mount Sinai Hospital. And I left Mount Sinai to work at a nursing home, which was a bit of a difference. I like the nursing home field more because I, you know, in a hospital, the door is revolving. The patients are here today, they gone tomorrow, and not because they die or anything, but hospital stays are temporary. They go home, they go back to the nursing home or whatever case may be. So that's that. Then where did I go from there? Oh, I went to the Pavilion of Forest Park, where I was there for almost 3 years. And I've just worked at several different places. I kind of took a break from the nursing home work, the CNA work, and did other things. And I worked in home health. I've worked with agencies that kind of send you to different places. So I've worked in hospitals, nursing homes, people's personal homes. I've done all of that. Um, what else? What else? My future dream career is to be a CNA instructor. Um, Honestly, I just feel like the CNAs today are not trained properly. They are not given the basics really. They kind of get these fly by night classes, and some of the basics are ignored. They're skipped. They're forgotten. They just don't exist. And I just think that it it's just not a good thing. So, and I think that it would help. It would help better the continuity of care for patients, for residents, for families. Because I mean it's all a whole unit. So, a brief story about what you would never have known about me if you hadn't asked. Brief story would be that I like camping. When I was a kid, when I was in grammar school, I went to a Christian school, and there was this man and his family that were very active with the school, with the church that ran the school. It's called Chicago Westside Christian Reformed Church, and the school was Chicago Westside Christian School. There was this guy, and I say was only because this was a long time ago. I don't know if he's still living. Hopefully he is. He's a great, great man. He and his family, and they opened their home to our entire school. Our school was probably from pre-K to 8th grade. It was probably 100 students, if that. My 8th grade graduating class was 12, so go figure. But oh yeah, and it was 2 grades in each class, so it wasn't a really really big school. And he and his family opened their home to our entire school once a year for the end of school year picnic. And um, we would go there. We would go horseback riding and all that kind of stuff on his land. Like it was amazing. And then they also had a summer program that was partnered up with a Christian camp called Camp Tall Turf, which is still in existence now. I actually plan on sending my son this summer. But it was just a great experience. We actually went camping. We went canoeing. We did archery. We did a lot of things that people in my community or their children have never experienced, and they look at me like I'm crazy when I say, man, I would love to go camping, I would love to go hiking. I like to do that kind of stuff. I mean, just being real, a lot of black people don't do that kind of stuff. Not here in Chicago. They just don't. It's just different experiences for different people, so I'm grateful for that. And like I said, it's an interesting thing because most people don't think to ask that. So I mean, like we pitched tents, we built campfires, we made s'mores like literally over the fire, roasting marshmallows. We made donuts, fried donuts, like literally like building a fire and putting the oil in the pan and all of that on the fire. We did all of that. We built latrines. Got a lot of mosquito bites. And oh gosh, what else did we do? Gosh, we went hiking through swamps. I remember I had a brand new pair of LA gears. I'm really telling my age now. And I lost one in the swamp because I slipped off of the path and my foot went in. And when I pulled it out, no shoe. Brand new pair of LA gears, pink, white, and black. So yeah, there. Kind of music I enjoy. What kind of music? I enjoy all music. Um, well, I ain't gonna say all music. It's some stuff that I don't like, but for the most part, I love just any music: jazz, blues, gospel, soul, R&B, neo soul. Mostly old school R&B. If I started naming artists, we'll be here all night, so we're not gonna do that. Um, but I love, love, love music. I love feel good music. Stuff that'll just kind of make you move. Even if it's a slow jam, it's just kind of a smooth groove and it just kind of, gets you in a rhythmic mood and just makes you feel good. Um, so that can be anything. Hidden talent. I have a very, very strange, not really strange, well, strange to some, gift of just getting people to trust me or to just feel okay with me, from little kids, babies even, to the older adult, those with some cognitive issues, dementia, what have you, to just those that are just, they're just the older adult. Um, um, so yeah, that's my hidden talent. I've often been asked, how did you get my 1 year old to do this? Or how did you get my 3 year old to do that? Or how did you get my mom in the shower? How did you get my dad to let you give him his medicine? Or whatever the case may be. So I think that's a hidden talent. It's a God given talent, and I don't question it. I'm grateful for it. I love it, and that's just that. My personal definition of good communication. My personal definition of good communication is say what you mean and mean what you say. And that's the gist of it. You cannot sugarcoat it. You cannot pretty it up. You have to be matter of fact. Good communication. The key to good communication, the first and most important key to good communication is respect. You have to be respectful. You cannot talk at someone. You cannot you just can't. You can't talk at someone, especially when it comes to coworkers. And that's people that rank lower than you, I guess, for lack of a better term. For instance, if you're an LPN, you are the charge nurse on the floor. You have CNAs working under you. You have housekeepers there. You have dietary staff. Maintenance, and you have everybody that kind of look to you as the charge nurse on that unit or that floor. And if you want things to flow smoothly, if you want people to help you make your job easier, then the key is to not talk at them. Be respectful. Give them eye contact. Give them the utmost attention when they are speaking to you, especially when it concerns your job, a resident, what have you. So yeah, that's my definition of good communication. How good communication applies to my career, of how it applies to my career journey. Um, it applies to my career journey because as a CNA for 17 years, I had to have good communication with the CNAs that worked before me and that worked after me So I knew what needed to be done, what was done, and what shouldn't be done. Today may not have been a great day for one resident because I worked the day shift. Maybe the night shift staff was a little grumpy. Maybe they were short. Maybe the resident just didn't sleep well that night. Whatever the case may be or may have been, I needed to have good communication with the CNA that worked before me so I knew how to provide care and what care to provide for that resident throughout the day shift. And then having good communication with the CNA coming on after me, letting them know, hey, this resident had a rough night, but the day got better. This is what may happen this evening. Or the resident had a rough night and a rough day. You know, maybe you can try this, that, or the other to make, you know, your shift flow a little bit smoother. Um, or hey, this person's shower was scheduled for you guys tonight, but I gave it to them in the daytime. So that can cut out unnecessary frustration because sometimes residents, especially those with dementia, are like, I already took a shower, I don't want a shower. And most people think that they're lying, they're just being uncooperative, or whatever the case may be, when in actuality, they took a shower already for whatever reason. So good communication applies to my career in that sense. It applies to my career as an LPN because I need to let those working with me know, the CNAs, housekeepers, dietary, I need to let them know what it is that I need from them, what it is that I expect from them, and give them the opportunity to tell me what it is they need from me and expect from me. With dietary, hey, this resident's diet has been downgraded to a mechanical saw from, you know, a regular diet, or this resident's diet has been upgraded from mechanical saw to regular, whatever it is. If a resident has been restless and combative, that needs to be communicated to me from the previous nurse, the previous CNAs, and to my CNAs and those coming on to work after me. So good communication, it applies to me in that respect. It applies to me in communicating with my instructors, what's going on, if I need to miss class, if I'm going to be late or whatever, because nothing has to be understood that is not explained, that is not known. So there you have it. The communication in which I am most proud of or most embarrassed. I cannot say that there's any communication I'm most embarrassed about because I try to be very transparent. I try to be clear in what it is that I mean, what it is that I think. I try really hard not to convey the wrong message because the perception is the truth to the perceiver, and I never want anyone to think anything other than what I want you to think. I want to convey my message correctly the first time, and that's just that. There's always room for error, but there's also room for correction, explanation. So, the communication that I'm most proud of, I would say, is there was an incident at a previous employer. It was a psych facility, and the resident had become combative, very uncooperative, and no one could deal with this particular resident. So there was an order given to give the resident a PRN. For those of you that do not know what a PRN is, it's a psychotropic medication that is ordered by the doctor, but it's PRN as needed. So, you know, for anxiety, for agitation, all of the above. And this resident, I have been hearing that this resident would be combative at times with some of the staff, and I was just like, really? It can't be. It didn't register to me, but I found out why. You cannot approach everybody the same. This guy was actually a gentle giant, like really, and most people would kind of just come at him because just basically what they heard instead of experiencing things for themselves. So bottom line to it all is I intervened. I was not working with that resident that day, but I did intervene because I did not want whatever was going on with the resident to become worse. There was obviously something going on that was agitating the resident, that may have been upsetting. You just never know what's going on in someone's mind. And then and they were acting out because of the disease process. They didn't know how to express, like, hey, I'm uncomfortable, I'm in pain, I'm sad, I'm worried, or whatever the case may be. But we sometimes forget, we take for granted that we don't have that condition, and we expect people with those types of conditions to behave the way that we would behave when we're feeling certain things. And they were kind of in attack mode, because sometimes you do have to forcefully hold someone down to give them a IM injection of a psychotropic med, because it does work faster and all of that stuff. But I intervened and I said, hey, you know what? I got this. Oh no, you can't do it, Jay. You can't do it. You gonna need some help, Nurse Jay. He gonna hurt you. He gonna do this. You need to call, resident services. You need to do it. And I'm like, I'm good. I don't need to do that. Like, So basically, I approached the resident like I always did. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? You okay? You agitated? What happened? And although the resident could not communicate the answers to me, I knew something was going on. But at this point, all of the interventions had already, the non-pharmacological interventions had been put in place. And so there was an order given to give the resident this PRN. And so I just explained to the resident what I was about to do, why I was about to do it, and what I needed the resident to do in order for me to carry out this order. Just as if I was talking to someone whose quote unquote mental capacity was at the same level as mine. And it was fine. I said, hey, whatever's going on, I need to give you a shot, and I need you to be really still. But I got to give you this shot so to kind of help you feel better, help you calm down a little bit. You might get a little sleepy, but this is what I have to do. The resident says, okay. And the resident services person was right there ready to grab. And I'm like, hey, no, don't touch them. Don't touch them. Leave them alone. And I gave the shot, put the Band-Aid on, and it was done. So I was nicknamed the Resident Whisperer after that, which is kind of cute. It's kind of funny. But nevertheless, that is a situation of communication that I am most proud of. And I finally completed this video. Thanks, everybody. I look forward to communicating with you guys more throughout this class. I look forward to posting more videos, watching you guys' videos, responding to them, and just conversing with you all. So, talk to you guys next time. Bye.